We are live.
Yay.
So welcome to this month's Coffee with Christy and Crew. For those of you who I haven't met yet, I'm Christy Roisum, the owner of Ops Boss Coaching. Today is our monthly mastermind. So we're going to wait a couple minutes. Hopefully some people are jumping on. And I'm going to disclose to you guys right up front today that I am not a master. This is why it's called a mastermind. So we have special guest Haley. I don't know how you pronounce your last name. Roisum, on to help mastermind with us today. So I'm super excited about that. So let's go around and introduce ourselves first before we chime in. And if you guys who are listening want to chime in and let us know where you are, because I always want referrals to go within this group. So maybe we'll get a referral before we finish the call an hour from now. So Elizabeth, introduce yourself.
Elizabeth Gilbert. I'm Chief Operations Officer at Ron Henderson and Associates in Kansas City, Missouri.
Woohoo!
And I'm Stephanie Brackett. I'm the COO of Anderson Hicks Group out of Idaho Falls, Idaho.
I'm Haley Roisum. I'm the Director of Marketing, also at Anderson Hicks Group in Idaho Falls.
Awesome. And the amazing Director of Marketing. This is going to be fun.
And she's also my daughter. If anybody that,
in case you can't tell. Exactly. You can totally tell. So I realized after I posted the topic in the group, it's actually the topic that you all chose, that it's a super, super broad topic, and we probably should have really narrowed it down. But the idea of today was talking about marketing, social media, digital media, old-fashioned, old-school marketing, all of the above. We're probably going to mainly focus on social media today because I've been watching Haley secretly. She doesn't know. Stalking her because she's been so successful with her social media posting. But we're going to hit all of the above. And I want you guys to participate in the group and share your content ideas, what your questions are around this. It's actually interesting. The first time I was on stage with Gary Keller was in 2012, and it was when social media was just coming upon the scenes, and that was actually my topic. So I was definitely a master at that time, and now we have a whole wave of new things that's happened since then that I am not a master at. So I'm going to be a great question asker today. And I know on our teams we've had a lot of discussion about what does the role of marketing director look like? We probably have some of you watching this that are marketing directors or have a marketing director as part of your team. And then probably more of you actually are a director of operations or a listing manager or an EA who marketing is part of your job. So I thought it would be awesome to have Haley on here and have her share a little bit more with us, since she's doing this full time. About, Haley, maybe you can tell us kind of what is your role, what does a day in the life of a marketing director look like, what are your priorities? So let's just start with that, with the basics.
Okay. So initially I had actually started on the team as a TC, and during the winter our team slows down quite a bit, as I'm sure a lot of yours do. And so in my spare time, I was trying to find ways to grow our Facebook page, to help with events. I just kind of did that spare time. And then once we merged with the Hicks Group, they actually offered me the position of Director of Marketing, which has been a huge blessing and something that I have really enjoyed. Day to day, I'll come in, I get my inbox to zero. And I make sure that my day is kind of set. Like my day, I feel like I have to set the stage with inbox to zero. I don't want anything in there that's just like sitting waiting for me. So that's what I do first. Then I'll check into Brivity, see what tasks I have. And that's usually posting things to Facebook. That's my reminder to get our Facebook page going. And then let's see, I had a couple other notes here. Yeah, it's been a little chaotic because it's a brand new position. We're learning. Over the past year, I feel like I've definitely learned some things about myself and learned how I need to organize things. So yeah.
On priority list, so marketing is like a really broad word. Like what does that kind of encompass and include for you on your team?
Anything that has to do with our public image. So all of our pre-listing packets were me. all of our Facebook, all of our Instagram, all of our events for our clients and events for the public. We do like to put on a few things every once in a while. We do a t-shirt scavenger hunt that the public has really been into. So those are like my top things.
And then you're also the one who is responding to reviews, right? I thought that was a really interesting part of your job, that you're not the one getting the reviews, but every time a review is posted that you're actually responding on behalf of the team.
Correct. I think that it's important for either the agent or a member of the administrative staff to be the one to ask for that, because most people don't know who I am. Most of our clients don't. And so I think that's important, but I do respond to them.
Yeah, I love that, because I don't think I've never done that actually. So I thought that was a really interesting part. Okay, so we're kind of overall, and you've got social media, we've got the event coordination, we've got the review response, we've got branding, public image, all of that. So how do we, so that's kind of job description. The next logical question for me is, how do we measure success in the role? I get that question a lot. So you guys feel free to jump in. If you guys are listening, I would love to hear your comments down below too. Like, how are you measuring success of the marketing of your team, whether you're doing it or someone else is doing it? So I'll throw that out to anybody on the call.
Well, I would say it's through numbers. I'm a numbers person, so it's always through numbers. Facebook, when she first started it, we might have closed 2 deals a year from Facebook. Just this year on Facebook alone, we have 125,000 in GCI that came directly from Facebook.
Whoa.
So 125 grand in GCI, 4.1 million in volume. And then the other thing that I look at as far as marketing goes as a team, if you look at our numbers, we're at 3.8 million GCI right now for the team, and 2.4 million of that is from repeat clients that are coming back to us to do business again, referrals from past clients that are sending referrals to us, Sphere that's doing business for us doing business with us for the first time. So there's someone we know and then they're doing business with us, or referrals from Sphere. So a referral from someone who's never done business with us, but that knows us personally, like our soccer team, somebody says, oh, call Anderson Hicks Group. So that would be a referral from the Sphere. So 2.4 out of 3.8 million is from those 4 sources.
I love that you know that 125,000 in GCI was from Facebook. Like, that's really tangible. You know that I think a lot of you listening have been in our classes, so you know we teach the 3X rule, right? That you should generate 3 times your salary in GCI to the team. So I would say you're probably getting really close just with that one thing with Facebook. So that's awesome.
And we probably spent, I mean, as far as ROI, how much do you think we've spent this year on Facebook? I'm trying to think of the P&L right now in my head. I bet we've probably spent 5 to 10 grand on Facebook. Like, actually, because we boost all our posts.
125.
We boost our posts. So, you know, we're spending 10 to 30 bucks on posts to boost them on some posts. We don't boost them all.
And we're going to come back and circle around to that question.
So,
too.
yeah. So it's a great return on investment if you're willing to put the work in. But like our posts, if you looked at them, there's hundreds of posts over the past months that are not all real estate related. So.
Right. And we're going to talk about content, like what are you posting?
Yep.
But first, I want to kind of continue to get that out. Measuring, so you're measuring success. Obviously, the most important lagging indicator is your GCI, how much income is coming in. What are the leading indicators that you guys are tracking to determine whether your marketing is successful?
Followers, increase in followers on the page. The more followers we get, the more the more reach we have, and she's really great about that. We'll get an email about once every couple of months that tells us exactly how, as everybody on the team, all 32 of us, needs to go out and invite people to like our Facebook page, and she gives us specific instructions on how to do that. So then we all go out and re-invite people, and then a couple of months will pass.
How to add followers. Haley, which is easier to increase your following on Instagram or Facebook? Just curious.
Facebook. Facebook by far.
I've had that same experience. One of the things you guys shared with me when we were doing our prep call that I thought was really an interesting leading indicator or maybe it's more of a lagging indicator, but something that you're tracking, and maybe Haley can talk about this, is you're tracking, so you're doing the pre-listing package as part of the marketing team. And you're looking at that as a branding thing and as an opportunity, but you're actually tracking return from that in terms of conversion. Can you talk about that, either one of you guys?
I think Steph would know better.
Yeah, so as far as conversion metrics go, we track all of our conversion metrics. And since we've implemented, and it's really hard to judge because we've had turnover in the agent role. And if you go to individual metrics versus a team metric, but as a whole, we've increased our conversion ratio on listing appointments since implementing the packet by like 7 to 10%, which when you're talking conversion metrics on a listing appointment, like your baseline's like 25%. So if you get up to 33%, that's 1 in 3 listings that are getting signed instead of 1 in 4, which is a big deal.
That's a huge amount of GCI right there.
Yeah.
Haley, I think you need a raise. No, I'm just kidding. That's awesome. And we'll dive into the content of what that looked like when we get to the content section. Does anybody listening have questions about the job description area and measuring success in the role? And if you guys do, Steph, I think you're monitoring.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't see any questions yet, just a lot of people watching, so thank you.
We'll keep on moving on.
Well, let me ask you a question. Take a step back for a second. At what point does a team need to hire someone like Haley? Like, where was your team at where they're like, you know what, we just need someone to do this for us? And how did you decide, like, what does the pay structure look like? I guess because as someone who likes doing marketing, and yet I know I'm not the right person for that, I would love to leverage that off. How do I know when to do that?
We didn't have enough GCI or need for it, even on our old team, which was a team of 15 people. So and that's why she was doing it part-time. So I would say once you hit about 20 people on your team, you probably have enough revenue to afford to pay a salary for a full-time marketer, because they will absolutely earn back their salary tenfold.
Okay. I always wonder that, because I see teams with like 4 agents, 1 admin, and a full-time marketing person. And I'm like, are you just calling that person a marketing person because they're like doing your print materials and they're doing your 33 touch or your listing packets and your social media and probably a bunch of other stuff, but you call them marketing?
I think so. I really think so, because I mean, marketing is not necessarily posting your listings on Facebook. That's part of the listings. And she does that for us in her position, but I wouldn't call that a marketer, like posting listings to Facebook. That's part of listing coordination to me, in my view. Right? Marketing is your public image. How do you appear out there to your community? That's marketing.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I think it can include a lot of things. Like we actually kind of build this generally as social media marketing, digital media. That can include everything from your pay-per-click to your SEO, to your SEM, to your email campaigns, to your text campaigns, to your billboards, as well as social media, which is a lot of what our conversation is going to be about today.
We've got a couple questions, so let's just make sure we're going to hit these later. I think we are. Can you elaborate on what content you post and how often? We're going to get into that. And then, do you track likes and comments? Yeah, we do. Go ahead, Haley, you can talk to that.
I don't on individual posts. I do on our page. So all of our followers I do track. But as far as like each individual post, no. I know that
you're just tracking how many people are following the page.
Yeah.
And you probably know more which ones are getting, what kinds of things are getting engagement. And we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
So, okay, so now you have this person, whether it's you, Elizabeth's doing her marketing, I do our marketing, a lot of our marketing at ObsBoss. How do you decide, well, let's talk marketing strategy. Like, how do you have a strategy? Do you have a way that you're executing this? How do I go from entrepreneurial to purposeful in this? Because I think a lot of people are very entrepreneurial. They're posting when they think of something. They're not planning ahead. Like, how do you set that up for yourself?
Systems. We've got systems. I have tasks every day when I come in that actually get launched by whoever's launching the tasks in Brevity. I don't know who that is. But there will be tasks that say, hey, this went pending today. Make sure you post about that. This is getting listed today. Make sure you post about that. So that way I just know at least I'm getting those things out there to our clients. That's important. And so we want to make sure that we're not missing a listing or missing when it goes pending. And that also has helped a ton with consistency. If I see that there's like very little to post on, maybe we just listed one house that day and nothing else happened, then I'll start with like a little bit more engaging posts and some fun posts that people can get on.
So do you keep a list of topics that potentially you could post on? Or are you just kind of posting what, like, how do you decide what you're posting? I think a lot of people struggle with what to post.
I don't know.
She just has a really good sense of humor. So she'll just say funny things and she'll post them. Like, yeah.
So do you have a calendar? Do you calendar out for a month ahead or anything like that?
Not for posts, but for events and stuff.
For
like for our overall marketing, yes, we definitely.
Yes. But
so let's talk about that. What does that look like for your overall marketing then?
Mostly for our events. So I'll have, I have Facebook posts that go out usually several weeks before just to save the date. That's usually hey, clients that have done business with us in the past, check your mailbox because we're going to send out a postcard. And then a few weeks after that, as we're getting closer to the event, I'll just start posting more and more. So if you go back on our Facebook page, you can see our pie event and how that was kind of laid out. And we actually did a viral video. So we use Viral Marketing. It's a email database system that gets out to all of our clients. And we use a professional videography company. And so for our pie day, we had Sean getting pies in the face.
I love that.
Yeah, he said it took him like 4 days to get all the whipped cream out of his nose.
Yeah, he got to the pie.
Yeah, but probably before we get there, we have our whole entire year scheduled out for 2020 on what events we're going to do. And then she runs this same system for each event. So we have a system for how the events go, when we post, how often we post, what we mail postcards for.
How many events do you guys do each year?
Next year, we have 4 big client events scheduled and ready to go. And then we're looking to add probably 2 more events that in the summertime that we can include the public and the community on. And
then how many posts are you doing around that? Like, what's your system for around the event? Like, is it 2 prior and 2 after, 1 the day of? Like, what does that look like?
No, it's more than that.
No, it's definitely more than that. I would say I probably do one. Oh gosh, it's probably like 6 weeks beforehand is when I do my first one. And that'll be like the check your mailbox. And then I probably do one once a week up until about 3 weeks before the event. And then it gets more frequent. So
it's probably about 10, I would say, from the last couple we've done. We're probably posting about 10 times about the event.
And then usually during the event, we have some sort of thing tied to social media. So we'll do like a giveaway, but they only get instructions on how to enter that giveaway if they showed up at the event. And that also kind of boosts our social after the event.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to come back to that when we talk about engagement.
And then we have a couple more questions. So let's make sure we're going to hit these. Yep. Elaborate on, we already did that. Do you use a lot of hashtags on Facebook and other social media platforms?
So before we dive into the specific questions, that's a great question. If I'm new or I'm not, marketing is not my thing, how am I going to decide where I post? I get that question all the time. Like, do I start with Facebook? Do I start with Instagram? Should I be on Snapchat? Should I be doing LinkedIn? Like, how did you guys decide what you're doing? And I want you guys all, I know we have a lot of experts who are watching this as well. So post in the comments too what you have found effective, and back up aerially, how did you decide that's where you went?
Facebook was something that Sean had asked me to do, but now that I'm in this position and there are so many to choose from, I think that you have to post to what the platform is meant for. So I don't post the same things on Facebook that I do on Instagram. Otherwise, people that follow us on Facebook and on Instagram are getting the same content over and over again. So why would they don't really want to be bombarded. So Facebook is more of a social network. You can post updates, you can post videos, you can post photos, you can interact with people a little bit easier. Instagram's meant for photo and video. That's what it's meant for. So you want to put your best photos on Instagram and your best videos. So we try and make sure that we're using that just for that. You want your feed to be aesthetically pleasing. So like I make sure that our feed's in threes. So if you go to our feed, you can kind of see like Instagram, I don't know. I don't know who I'm speaking to exactly. So if you've been on Instagram ever, you know that there are 3 photos on each line of your feed. And so I make sure that those 3 are the same color. So as they go down, so that when people pop on our Instagram feed, they say, oh, this is really aesthetically pleasing. I want to follow them.
I agree.
So it's not
I think
just
it's really important. I have that on my list to talk about as well. One of the things that I would say to people is when you're deciding where to focus, for us, what worked really well is to choose one place and build it up and then go to the next platform. When you're trying to do 5 things really well, you do nothing well. And so I think you have to know where your demographic is. So for example, we hear all the time, like, nobody's on Facebook. Facebook is like MySpace was, blah, blah, blah. And here's what I know. I know Facebook is still the #1 social media outlet by a mile. And I also know that in my particular business, when I was on my team, we had a ton of senior citizens, people who had lived in the area for a long time. Guess what? They're not on Instagram and they're not on Snapchat. They're still on Facebook. So for us, Facebook worked really well. But if you're in a business where you do a ton of business with millennials, maybe you want to start with Instagram and work on that first. I think you have to know what your demographic is and what's the demographic of the platform that you're using. That's a way to start to figure out where you're going to go. Anything else you would add about where to focus, how to decide where you're posting?
I would say make sure you're ahead of your competition in your market. So if you've got a few people in your market that are really great on Facebook and you're not that great on Facebook, I would get as great on Facebook as I could first before moving to something else.
Yeah, always dominate the competition.
Dominate.
Steph has that competitive gene.
No, not at all.
Okay, so let's talk about what we post. Content ideas, how to get followers, how do I get engagement? What are some of the things that you're doing that have gotten great engagement that I can go back and implement tomorrow?
Okay, engagement posts. Do you want to screen share? We can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Which one?
We'll show you. Just go on Facebook itself.
I should have had her doing this because I'm not that good at it, but she doesn't know how to screen share. Are we going to Anderson Hicks Group? Is that where I'm going? Okay, so let's see here if I can screen share. Share.
So while we're doing that, we had a question about how often you're posting. Haley, how often are you posting on Facebook? How often are you posting on Instagram?
Facebook is at least 3 times a day. I mean, Facebook.
And that's on the business page.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then how often are you posting on your personal pages, people on your team?
I try and post at least once a day on my personal page just to keep it up. I don't do any sales, so I mean, I can at least try and get referrals from my sphere.
Yep.
I do encourage our agents to post at least once per day.
Okay. And then how often are you posting on Insta?
Instagram is at least once per day.
And are you doing Insta stories?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, those 2.
Awesome. I think that, Tanya, that was your question, and we're going to talk about content now.
So where am I going, Haley?
Just scroll down a little bit.
Oh, if my computer wouldn't be like.
Keep going. Keep going.
I think if you guys all go to follow Anderson Hicks Group, you'll see a lot of what Haley's been doing and get some really great ideas there. I think one thing, Haley, that you do a really great job at is hitting all the disc profiles, right? So we have people that like statistics and charts. We have people that like stories. You know, we have people that like visual, like you're hitting all the different things. And I think that's important regardless of where you're doing marketing, whether that's your email marketing, whether that's your social media, whether that's your old school newspaper ad, that we're hitting all the different behavioral profiles. So, okay, let's talk about what you're posting and engagement.
So these are super easy engagement posts. This is something that you can do to start getting followers, to start getting engagement. So I don't know if many of you know how Facebook's algorithm works, but when people are engaging in your posts, they're more likely to see posts that they haven't engaged with if they're following your page. So Facebook only puts in front of you what they think you want to see. And so if you're engaging with Anderson Hicks Group's page, you're more likely to see a picture of a new listing if you engaged on something like this.
Whipped cream marshmallows. Yeah, this was just a vote. This
has nothing to do with real estate, but it's something that people are opinionated about, you know? And so you just
I will give you the limiting belief that I hear from some people, which is, does that make me look unprofessional, or does that make me look like I'm not really an expert in real estate when I post things like this? How would you respond to that limiting belief?
Have you seen our other posts?
So we have like a ratio of what you're doing with engagement posts versus more real estate related posts?
For sure. So one thing that you don't want to do is inflate your following with people that only vote on things. You it'll cause like an inflation of followers, and then they'll all unfollow because it's like, well, I liked this one post, but I don't want to follow all these weird data trends. And so, yeah, I think that you just need to be careful with it. I wouldn't post that more than like once a month, maybe.
Okay. And then, so let's talk about content. And this is for everybody. Feel free to post in the comments. What has been your best content post, whether that's Facebook or Insta?
I think people really like our videos that we do, especially if they have Sean in them. I don't know why.
Old ladies really like Sean.
They do. Yeah. So no, I think that my biggest tip there would just make sure that you're authentic. Make sure that you're you'll see Facebook lives of me in my face, and it's like really awkward. Like you don't want to be there with a phone in your face talking to, 7,000 people about how it's cold outside. But if you're like authentic and you give them your thoughts and you kind of think out loud and you're excited, I think that people just kind of grasp onto that. They don't want to see like this, I don't know, a page with 7,000 people to me looks like, oh, wow, they're too good for anybody else. But like, I don't want to ever give off that image. I want to give off an image of we're a person just like you. We communicate with you. We are listening to you. And so I think that that's important, is just authenticity.
If you look at like reality TV, like people are drawn to those people because those people end up being just very authentic, and that's their real self. It's not like a scripted TV program where everybody has their lines they're saying. So everybody gets totally sucked into these reality TV things. And it's the same thing on social media. They want the real you. Like Sean with the pies in his face, that was the real Sean.
That's the real Sean. That's the people like to do business with people they like and trust, right? Yeah. I think someone else who does a great job of that, if you guys were, those of you who were at the Ops Boss Leader Retreat saw Sheena Sadam speak, and their group is very authentic. She goes Facebook Live all the time, and they give back to the community. That's the core of their team. And so she just posts every day about what they're doing and what their real estate business is funding, and that attracts like-minded people. So I think that's really great clarity. Jean says, oh my God, your Instagram page is gorgeous. So let's talk about content for Insta. What are you putting on Insta?
Instagram, we have a really, really good photographer. And that's one thing that I can say that we've been really blessed with. It's actually our field ops guy that goes and takes the pictures. And we've asked him to do some like different shots for us that we can use for Instagram. So if you see, just I think a few days ago maybe, or within the last week, we had this gorgeous house that he was taking pictures of. And so if we come across things like that, I'll definitely like make sure that we're posting things like that. Are you still?
I love that. We all have photographers that we use.
Yeah, let me share. We actually created a Slack channel just so you can see some of his photos, but these are the types of photos we're using. So if you see, this is our Jeff's Creations feed, and he's just done some really cool, unusual pictures, like really close up here. This is an actual like console table, and he's taken a close up of the pine cone, and you can see the stuff in the back is blurred.
Awesome.
He just does a really great job with pictures, and so that's the kind of stuff she's posting on Insta.
I love that. Now, we all don't have a photographer on staff, but we all have photographers that are doing our listing photos. And I would think if I was a photographer, that's a win-win creation, where it wouldn't cost me any more money to ask my photographer to do it. But if I put his brand just down in the corner, then he's getting additional marketing exposure from us. That sounds like a great win-win idea. I love that.
And then you'll also see some stock photos in there. I just use Canva. Like if I'm looking for something and I'm like, I don't have anything orange this week, I'll go in and look for something orange that's like a really pretty couch or something like that, that's real estate related. And then I'll have some good data or a good informational piece in the comments. So my focus with Instagram is really to make the page look good with good information in the.
Do you think because Instagram is so visual that it's almost your digital magazine? Like people like Better Homes and Gardens, they like, House Beautiful, all of those fun, like house magazines. It looks like those photos look like those should be in those types of magazines.
Right. Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're going for?
Yes. Yeah. So if we get a listing like this last one that we had on Casa, it looked like something out of a magazine. Like it was phenomenal. And so that's why I'm posting it, is because it looks like #goals.
Exactly. Which we'll come back and answer that question in a second. I just want to add to that. So if you go to the Ops Boss Coaching Instagram page, you'll see that we're very color coordinated as well, because I have that same thought as you do, Haley, that I want it to be pleasing to the eye. I also want you to start recognizing that every time my picture comes up in your feed, you immediately associate those colors with Ops Boss Coaching. So I'll give you a couple apps that I use that are all free that you guys can use to try to make your Insta pages pop like that. One is Word Swag, which is a great place to find free photos. And then the photos are not always the color that I want, so I take them over to Color Changer app. And that way all my pinks and all my grays pretty much end up the same color. And then I go back in and brand them and add the copy and pick collage, which sounds like a lot. And if you have a budget, you can just pay for upgraded versions, so you don't have to use multiple apps that can do all that stuff. Because I like that visual too. So let's talk the hashtag things. Are you gaining followers through your hashtags? Tell people what your thought process is on hashtags.
We use them. I think that's one of, yeah, we use them. I don't love them. I think that we probably gain 1 follower for every 3 posts with hashtags. So I do use them. I do try and keep them relevant, make sure that like I'm not posting, a picture of a winter landscape and posting summertime, like, keep them relevant. I actually really like besthashtags.com. I'll go there, and if you type in one hashtag like interior design, it'll bring up, I don't even know how many, probably 20 different hashtags that are all trending that are similar to that. So it gives you kind of the higher used hashtags so that people are searching those.
Are you able to see on that what's trending in your area, or what's trending for a certain topic? Like, because I imagine like in your area, are you looking for followers locally? Are you looking for followers nationally?
Both. You'll notice that in almost every single one of my posts, I do hashtag Idaho Falls. And then in, I would say probably every other, I at least have Pocatello, Rexburg, Rigby, Blackfoot, which are all of our surrounding areas. So I do try and keep local hashtags in there. I do turn the location on for all of them, so all of them are in Idaho Falls. But yeah.
That's a good tip. That's a good tip. I found, I mean, and we're all in different markets. Some of us are like in the Detroit market. That's maybe a little more challenging to get to the top, or Elizabeth in Kansas City. But if you're in the suburbs, so the team I was in was in a suburb of Washington, D.C., I found it very easy to get in. You know how you can go to a hashtag and you can see the top posts and the most recent posts. I found it very easy to stay in the top posts, so that anybody going to look at that hashtag was always going to see our team. And it wasn't hard to do. So that kind of goes back to Steph's, like, I'm competitive, I want to be the best in this area thing. So let's see, what other content ideas? I was going to share one that I did actually back in 2011 and 12 that didn't really take off because people weren't using video yet. And I was a little bit ahead of the game, but I actually saw someone else do it really well today, and they had 6,000 views since 10 o'clock last night until 10:30 this morning. And that was using kids for your videos. So we used to do once a week a market stats update on our hyper-local market. And I would get my little kid, my ops boss Sheila's son, who was like 10 at the time, and he would come down and be like our little newscaster and give the market stats. And I would write it up just as if I was writing for adults, and he would read it. And he was like so cute, you guys. And he would like mispronounce the words, and it was just funny. And you always had outtakes and whatever. But I saw somebody do that today with a 6-year-old, and the 6-year-old was explaining, what does closing costs mean? So it was like a series of videos explaining the home buying process. And I'm like, kids and pets, like, your views just go way up. So I thought that was a really good idea for content and super easy to do. My other thought process behind it at the time was to invite different children in who were in your sphere or in your client base, and their parents will share it away because they're so proud of their kid. So there's a content idea for you.
That's
what
awesome.
Other content ideas do we have?
Are we talking still just social, or are we talking like pre-listing packets and other stuff like that?
Well, let's go. Actually, we skipped over that. Did you guys bring your pre-listing packet?
Yeah, Haley's got it right here.
So let's talk about that, because that's marketing too. And I think most people have never thought about a pre-listing packet as part of marketing. So let's talk about that. Tell us.
So the first thing she's got here is a little caution tag that says, caution, opening this box may cause your home to sell. And then of course it's wrapped in caution tape.
My dad works in road construction, so
it's free caution tape.
That's the budget.
You get what you can get.
I love that.
Okay, and then you can explain the rest.
Okay, so you pop it open. It's just a gable box, so I don't know.
How much do we pay for these boxes?
The box in total is like under $5. I think it's like
For everything in it?
everything in it.
Okay. That's
I'll
good.
hold it.
I probably have pricing somewhere else, but okay. So this is the card. It says congratulations. And then on the inside, it says you've taken the first step to listing your home. Now throw confetti, pop a bottle, treat yourself, and let Anderson Hicks Group take care of the rest. So I don't know if you can really see
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
So,
and are you printing those in-house, or you just get a bunch printed?
Vistaprint has been doing ours.
Okay.
So throw confetti. There's a little confetti popper in here.
Amazon.
Pop a bottle.
Local grocery store.
Sparkling cider.
Sparkling cider.
We don't have a lot of drinkers in this area. And then Dove chocolate is
To treat yourself.
Treat yourself. And then we have our actual, what most people would consider the pre-listing packet. So this is everything about our team. Just some market stats.
I love that. It's super simple.
Super simple. These were, I think we did print runner for these ones. Anderson Hicks Group versus the standard agent. What ours looks like compared to a different agent. And then our marketing budget is on the back. So where our dollars are going to market their listing.
I love that.
And then we have a little tiny envelope that has all of our, I'm just going to open this up.
Just ruining one for you guys.
Good. And then we might have to pop the confetti.
So at the end.
When we're done, we'll pop it.
So this has our leadership, and then each card has like a person on it. So Sean's
And they're funny. They're not like.
Yeah, so this was like our resume for each person, and I decided to do them on business cards because at the beginning when we merged, we had so much like going on that some people were coming, some people were leaving, and so business cards made it really easy to just like stop ordering or start ordering.
So what do they say on them?
So this one says, Sean loves numbers and Excel almost as much as he loves his family. He wants to be David Allen when he grows up. He claims to have been the best table waiter in college, which he shows off when our team volunteers at the soup kitchen. Did we mention that he loves spreadsheets?
Oh my God, that's so good. What does Stephanie say, or what does yours say?
Oh no.
There's mine. You can read that one.
Haley says, Haley obtained her bachelor's degree in child development in 2 years, but her only kids are her 3 dogs. Haley worked in road construction for 7 years and once saved an entire family of raccoons while on the job. She's obsessed with Blink 182 and most other punk rock bands, The Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's awesome.
Steph has been in administration for almost 30 years. She is known by peers around the country as the systems queen because she creates systems for seamless real estate transactions. She's also an exceptional problem solver. Her hobby is making her house look like no one lives there, which drives her kids crazy. But she also claims that she doesn't like ice cream. But who doesn't like ice cream?
Oh my God, you guys, so those of you listening, this is why you need to follow and watch what Haley's doing, because I think you guys take this to the next level in the personalization, and that connects the head and the heart with your clients. Like, people are going to do business with you not just because of here, they're going to do it because of here, and you guys have managed to bridge that gap so well. I love that. Super great.
Super important to me.
And you've gained 8% in your conversion ratio.
Somewhere between 7 and 10, yeah.
So I want to know at some point, you got to tell me what that number is.
On listing appointments, we're at about, I don't have it broken out by listing and buyers, but we're at like 31% rep from appointment to rep signed in 60 days. So from the day that we have the appointment to getting a rep signed within 60 days, our team is running at like 32% right now.
And they were at 25?
We were at 20.
Yeah, so.
But that's mixed with buyers.
I want to know the number though. So what does that represent in GCI? If you convert 7% or 8 or 10% more in listing appointments, how much GCI? You can tell me that by the end of the call.
Oh my gosh. Christy, I have to do some math.
So this is why I know we're talking about marketing, but I think the mark that we often miss is, are we measuring the return on investment? Because it's not just an investment of dollars, it's an investment of time. And I love the fact that you guys can actually track your dollars to your marketing. So that pre-listing idea is so simple, $5, and you've increased your conversion ratio by 8%. That's massive. What about, would you guys tell us about your t-shirt scavenger hunt and your amazing race plans?
Oh, yeah.
Did that actually help you get new followers to your page?
Which one?
The t-shirt scavenger?
Scavenger hunt, like anything that you're doing. Is that what helps you get new followers?
Yeah. What are we up to now on Facebook?
7,000, almost 7,080, I think.
And we're in a town of like 60,000 people, so.
Okay, so obviously they're not all just past clients and friends of yours.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of
go ahead.
So the t-shirt scavenger hunt, that one has been pretty fun, especially where we're in kind of a smaller area. We can travel not too far to get these things places. So we have branded t-shirts, and they're actually like super high quality, nice t-shirts that we've purchased. And we've kind of advertised like that they are that way. So the last one, I hid 25 t-shirts in the community, and we just posted on Facebook their location with a clue as to where it was. And then the first person that finds it would just comment on the post and say found it. And so each one of them has like a card on it that would say like, make sure you follow us on Facebook if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram. And then I always try and tag like an extra giveaway to our giveaways, if that makes sense. So like for the t-shirt scavenger hunt, if they took a picture and they put it on social media, they'd be entered in for another drawing. So I always try and like make it more interesting by doing that so that more people want to get involved.
And are you guys doing that for your client events too? Are you getting a lot of engagement of people that are attending the events actually posting on social?
Yes. So with the pie day that we just did, each of the pies had a card on it that said, follow us here, follow us there. We actually used that to get more reviews. So we asked for a Google review, a Facebook review, and then they would post, we love AHG pies on one of our posts. So that again helps with the algorithm thing that we talked about earlier.
And we gained, even just on Google reviews over the weekend, we got like 33 Google reviews just from pie event.
That's amazing. How many pies did you guys give out this year?
450.
Wow. Whew. I saw you had drive-through. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was super fun. And Sean was like totally against it. He's like, no, we need to engage and stuff. But we got so many people that were like, we love the drive-through. We didn't want to get our kids out of the car to come in. And so we were like out there having a good time with them and really engaging with them still, but they loved the drive-through. So if you guys have never done a drive-through pie, do drive-through pie.
So let's go. We've had a bunch of questions around business page versus personal page. Do I do organic posts? Do I do paid posts? Do I boost? Do I sponsor? Like, where do I start with all of that? What's been most effective for you guys?
You definitely want a business page if you're wanting to grow your page. The personal page is still super important, and I can talk on that in a second, but will you pull up one of the...
Yeah, except for I don't know how to share now since I...
Stephanie ruined her computer.
Oh, wait, I got it. What am I pulling up?
The email that I sent you.
Don't you love it when your daughter's bossing you around? That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's about time. She bossed me around for a long time.
Which one?
Facebook.
Business page, this one?
No, inviting participants. Going below that.
Okay.
So business pages have certain aspects to them that personal pages don't, and that allows you to help grow that page even for free. So like, even if you're not wanting to spend any money on ads or anything like that, I still encourage you to get a business page. This is one example. So this is how to get followers for free, basically.
Okay.
So log into your Facebook business page, scroll down to one of your posts, click on it, and then click on interactions.
So if you click on your interactions on a Facebook post that you've got on your business page, click on that, and then it'll show you everybody that has liked that post. If they have not liked your page, you can invite them to like the page. That's a free way to get followers. Not all of them will do that. I say I probably have maybe 30% that'll actually go through and still follow our page, but that was free. I didn't have to do anything for that.
Yeah, so that's an easy recurring activity that you can just schedule into Brivity or whatever your CRM is to do once a week.
Correct.
Sorry, the mailman's here. My dog is barking.
So that one's super easy. So things like that, I would really encourage a business page for, just because you get those perks. You still do want a personal page though, because it's important to be a person. It's important to, you know, get referrals and be authentic, and not everything you post on your own page can be posted on a business page because of that like professional aspect. You do want to, you know, be professional but authentic, but on your own page you can post like super funny memes or whatever that make people laugh and get engagement on your personal page through that, which eventually leads people to want to like your business.
I think before people start, the step we sometimes miss that you have a lot of clarity on is, what is your brand? Your brand is being authentic, but authentic is different for all different people. And you're not being just authentically Haley, you're being authentically Anderson Hicks.
Correct.
And what does that look like? And I think that's a conversation for those who are listening, that maybe they need to sit down with their rainmaker and talk about, here's my idea of what I think our brand is. Are we on the same page so that we're putting out there what the brand is? And that should be tied in, I think, to your mission, vision, and values.
Right. Yep.
So, okay. Now, what about, do I sponsor posts? Do I boost posts? How much money are you guys spending, organic or paid?
We actually have that hired out. So we do have somebody that handles all of our Facebook budget for us. There are some things that you can do on Facebook. So if you are boosting, I would encourage you to first research how to boost effectively, because if you're just boosting out to whoever, you're going to have people in New York City seeing your post for Montana. Like, nobody from New York wants to move to Montana.
True story.
So, sorry, Montana people. But so you just want to make sure that you're boosting correctly. So there's actually a place in Facebook where you can upload your database and you can boost just to your database, which is super cool because they're more likely to follow your page and engage with you there. I don't know, what do you mean by sponsoring?
You used to be able to sponsor or boost. It was two different options. Maybe that doesn't exist anymore.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think
Not that I
Let's go back to,
So there was a way, yeah, you can create a brand new ad without having posted it first. Because a boost is you post the thing that you want to post,
Yes.
and then you can pay to boost that to the people who already follow you. Versus when you start a new ad, you create the ad in Facebook, and then that gets you pay for it to go out to people that a targeted audience, maybe not necessarily your followers.
Okay. Yep. We do both.
Okay.
yeah, okay. So one to followers, one to a chosen audience. Now, another question that comes up a lot is, are you posting for your agents? Do you tell them what to post? Especially on smaller teams, how do you handle agents who are not super social media savvy, but you want them to have a personal presence on Facebook?
Encouragement.
We don't post
No,
for them,
I
but
don't
she
post for
recommends.
them, but I will if I've got like a post that's like, hey, this would be really good for all of you single agents to post. Like if I post our market stats that day, then that's something that they could easily just share to their page.
Okay, and you're just having them share, are they posting straight on, or are they sharing from the business page?
They usually share from the business page.
That's what we do too. We get granular with that, and there's a to-do in our CRM that tells our agents to go out and friend their clients. So for each listing we do, each buyer that goes under contract, there's a to-do for the agent to go out to Facebook and do a friend request to that client.
Right. We used to do that and our agents just didn't do it. So we have 4 agents that have personal assistants. They've earned the right to have personal assistants. So those assistants are definitely managing those agents' Facebook page. But the agents that don't have assistant are really kind of responsible for doing their own.
When it was just me and my lead agent, that's what I did for him, is I would log in as him and go friend everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, he friended me 5 times. No, I'm just kidding. You can't do that. Now I forgot what the question was that I was going to ask. We'll skip on. I don't remember what the question was. Okay, so then what about old school successes? Is anybody listening that's still doing, are you guys still doing any old school marketing? Because marketing is not just social media.
Yeah. She actually just has a really good personal example of old school marketing that literally just worked.
Awesome. Share.
So, we are moving back. I've been in Nampa for the past 6 months, which is about 4 hours away from Idaho Falls. I had been doing this remotely for 6 months. Decided I didn't like it and I wanted to be back here in the office. And so we decided to move back, and Chris said, I'm only moving back if we can move back into our old neighborhood. I'm not going anywhere else. I was like, all right. So I sent out 100 postcards to people in that old neighborhood and got 4 leads off of it. And we are now under contract on one of those homes. So.
Wow. So we have a buyer for a home specifically in this neighborhood. Yeah, we used to have a lot of success with that too.
It wasn't even just we have a buyer. It was a picture of her and Chris. We want your house.
Sell me your house.
That's awesome. Well, and that's a good point. I think it really does matter what you say in the messaging.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we have, I mean, and we just told the whole team, like, that was a great success. So if they have a buyer that's looking for a particular neighborhood, Haley will put together a postcard very similar to what she did for herself, saying, this is the buyer and they want to live in your neighborhood. Are you looking to sell your home?
Yeah. And this is a beautiful time of year for that, because people are thinking about putting their homes on the market in the spring. Yep. We used to do a letter as opposed to a postcard. And basically the script in the letter, which was a true script, was We haven't done this, but only a handful of times over the past 30 years, but we have a buyer that very specifically has targeted certain homes in this neighborhood as homes they would be interested in. They're already pre-approved. They have 2 kids and 5 dogs, and they really love this neighborhood because XYZ. And we always said in it, if you're already listed with another agent, please have your agent contact us, and otherwise tuck this away, and when you're ready to sell, call us. And we sold lots of houses that way.
Awesome.
Any other old school successes?
We still do door knocking flyers around open houses. We still, like when our agents do an open house, they go door knock 20 across the street and 10 in each direction with a flyer that Haley makes. So we still do door knocking flyers.
And what does that flyer say? What's the value? Are you providing a value add? Like, what does it say when you're door knocking?
Yeah, so usually it's just the information about the open house on the front, and then on the back it talks about our instant offer program. And something that we're actually going to start implementing in 2020 is a neighbors only viewing of the open house, and that'll just be the first hour of the open house that's only advertised to the neighbors so that they can kind of see how their house compares. It's just something that we're trying to provide value to the people that we're talking to, so that it's not just like, hey, come to our open house.
Yeah, we used to do the neighbor only preview also, and got listings from doing that.
And then of course you're offering a free market analysis on all of them. If you ever want a free market analysis of your home, give us a call.
Yep. Any other old school successes before we? And then, then let's go back to, Elizabeth kind of mentioned it. So a lot of teams don't have the bandwidth yet to hire a full-time marketing director. They may just have one EA or one assistant who's doing everything on the team. How can I leverage myself in the marketing area? And if you guys who are listening, whether it's now or later, are using leverage, please post that in the comments so that other people can use the same resources. Elizabeth, I think you had an interesting outsourcing that you guys are doing.
Yeah, we hired a company to do ours, and I'll put his name in the comments, but it's Nick Sakis, and that's what he does. He's an agent, he has his own team, he sells real estate, and he has a marketing company that they will run Facebook ads for you specific to your area. They even tied on an ISA team that will call those leads generated by the Facebook ads. And what they're actually doing is turning over to you. These are the people that said they're ready to talk to an agent. And so that's worked out pretty well. It's still experimental for us. A lot of leads have come in. They haven't quite panned out yet because Kansas City is such a big area. A lot of them are coming from the downtown area, which we don't serve because there's a lot of condos and smaller inner city type of houses, and we're way more in the suburbs. So we're doing some tweaking on that and seeing better results from that because of it. So
yeah, I think Facebook has, is it a 10-mile, Haley, you may know, 10-mile or 15-mile radius when you're doing ads?
Yeah, 15.
Yeah, so that's why that's happening. I know,
Right.
like if you're in Manhattan or some of the inner, like you don't want all the stuff in New Jersey and
yes.
River challenges. Anybody, are you guys outsourcing anything, or were you outsourcing anything on your team stuff?
Yeah, we have quite a few out there. So we do viral marketing for all of our email marketing. It's a mix of content between them and us. Puppy. So viral marketing, and then we have a guy that does our web stuff for us. He does a lot of the back end stuff on the website, SEO optimization, stuff like that. And he'll do the paid retargeted Facebook ads. So he advertises and does retargeting. And then we have Porter Pro Media, who does our video, our videographer. And so they do a lot of our like real professional looking commercials. We have a lot of client testimonials where it's like really professional client testimonials where they're just interviewing people talking about the service they received from us.
I love that. One of the teams, and this is a few years back that they did it, but they had great results from it, was Sue Adler team hired college kids to do videos of the different communities in their area to go on their website for their to market the different neighborhoods, and that was really low cost. By the way, viral is VYRAL, correct?
Yes.
For anybody that wants to look up viral.
And the reason we use them is they have a really good delivery rate. So you're not getting a lot of spam and kickback on them. If they send out our thing to, how many are we usually sending our email?
We get 99.1% delivery rate. And it's to almost 13,000 email addresses.
Does it also show you open rate?
Yeah, it does. We get open and click-throughs and yep.
They're really great with their reporting, so you do get your numbers. I think the open rate is definitely lower. I think we get probably 15% of people will actually open the email. Yeah.
And another option is Happy Grasshopper. Ops Boss Coaching works with Happy Grasshopper. They've been awesome. They've expanded their program to provide a lot of content, and even in terms of handwritten cards and texts and Facebook messaging and all kinds of additional stuff. I would say also you may have local, what we used to call TC companies. There's a lot of TC companies, transaction coordination companies, that are offering additional services. So if you need help in the marketing area, you may want to check with them to see if they can help you. So I think, did we hit all the questions, Steph?
There's one more asking who delivers our pre-listing package. It's 50-50. If we get the data early enough, then our field ops guy delivers it. If we don't get it early enough, then the agent takes it with them. But mostly we try to have it delivered by the runner, our field ops guy, prior to the appointment. So he'll deliver it the day before the appointment.
There's a couple other questions in here too. Do you use anything like Hootsuite to post to multiple sites?
No, I don't. I did at one point, but I think that the way that Facebook is, they're really picky about third-party posting, and it actually affects the algorithm. Yeah. So no, I don't.
And that reminds me too, something that we talked about on our prep call, which is in terms of scheduling and having a calendar and doing your strategy, that's all awesome. And you also need to be in tune with what's happening in the environment. Like what's happening in the news. Did something really big happen in the news and you don't want to be posting like la 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 la, this wonderful thing. You need to be in sync with that. Elizabeth, what were you gonna say?
And then someone else asked, are you using Snapchat stories?
No, we're not.
No. And then someone else asked, how do you get new followers for your page? But I think we covered that when we talked about the business page and going and inviting people. And then of course we have it on everything. Like every time we do an event or anything, we're always talking about like us and follow us on Facebook. It's on everything.
Is there a files tab that I can upload?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll upload the PowerPoints to the Ops Boss. So how to get followers on your page, how to invite people.
They're really basic. I mean, they were for our agents that were 1,000 years old.
But that's awesome. Because we all have those agents on our team. I love that, Haley. Thank you. So I would challenge all of you who are ops people to see if you can do what Haley did, is really bring the level up of social engagement of everyone on your team by making it as easy as possible for them to do it. So I think we probably could have talked about this for like 10 hours, and there's a whole bunch of topics we didn't talk about. So we'll do another mastermind next month, and I'll ask you guys to share with us, like, what topics do you want to hit? We've hit a whole bunch of them. If you haven't watched the previous ones, go back into the files and look at them. I want to challenge you guys who are listening, if you want to bring one of our classes to your market center next year, we need advocates for that. I think a lot of times the team leaders are like, yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't understand what this class is or how powerful it can be. And I need someone who's going to really promote it. That can be you. We had some great success stories this year where admin masterminds actually brought us in to teach. And Steph has an amazing new class coming out in 2020 called Be a Boss 2.0 Systems Are Sexy. And she's going to go really in depth for a little bit of what she previewed at our Ops Boss Leader Retreat on how to create systems. I'm super excited about that. So if you want to know anything about that, reach out to me or Steph and we'll talk about that. And thank you guys for joining us. Haley, thank you for sharing your knowledge, and go send your referrals to Haley in Idaho Falls. And you guys have a great week. And Merry Christmas if I don't see you guys, those of you who are celebrating Christmas, and Happy New Year. And we'll see you in January for our next mastermind.
Yay.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.